This episode of Cast the Craze is brought to you by.
We have just a few reasons why you should pick up a copy of There's Nail in My Toilet, book number 3, I Chihuahua, today. You'll join all of the others and pick up a copy today.
What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
In the House of Craze, we have a very special guest. He's been time. His name is Craze. He's got a book called BigFoot Knows Karate, issue number 2. That's coming up next.
Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Cast the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the Dreamer, Medina, and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the craze. If you are an independent, catch the craze. Making moves on your own, catch the craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the craze. Join the movement, catch the craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I'm your host with the most, the crazy man, Vera, and I am with
George the Dreamer Medina. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. Michael Sammartino, let's go. Yes, it is Tuesday, October 4th, and we are live with a very special guest. We are celebrating our Craze-iversary, which is something he coined. I'm not even gonna take credit, although he bequeathed it to us. Did you hear him say that before we came on? That was amazing.
Bequeathed it. I didn't know. I thought he sneezed.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, so we're gonna be talking to him soon. But if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe.
Give us a comment below. Do all those fun things. Help us spread the word about Catch the Craze. We're still to 1,000. It's been a long road.
Yes, it's a long road.
Yes, it's been a minute.
When you're all alone.
Indeed it is. So we are going to be talking to Dan. Dan's been on the show a few times, man. He's been on the show.
Yeah, he's another closet walker. You know, he's right out the window. He's like this.
Yeah. Listen, episode 316. Check it out. Episode 316.
316. Yes.
He was on with Casey Allen, his co-writer of the book BigFoot Knows Karate. They were back on the show again on March 15th, 2022, earlier this year. Episode 399, right before our 400th episode, they came on the show. And they were also on the show before that. They were promoting the other book that they had. They had the Halloween special that they had.
That's right, the Latex Man Halloween. Was it?
It was like a Halloween special.
Yeah.
So they were on the show for that. So Dan's been on the show. We know Dan. We're not going to ask him the questions. Tell us a little bit about yourself, blah, blah, blah. We're going to be asking those questions. We're going to get right down to the nitty gritty.
I'm going to have him put bequeath in a sentence.
Yeah. Give us the origin of the word so we can see we can spell it. So we're going to be talking to him about the book, issue number 1, obviously came out. Huge success. Great book, beautifully illustrated, all with
I love the palette. I love the style.
Yes.
I love everything about the book.
Yes, and all he did was use this one finger and a mouse. So the dude is gifted. The man knows what he's doing.
Isn't that the scratching finger?
Easy. We're going to be talking to him. We're going to be talking to him about that. But before we get to Dan, Sam, we got some business to take care of.
taking care of business
Yes.
every day.
Let's
Yeah,
take
word.
care of business.
I know.
man.
I gotta control that. Says stop, Sam. My therapist said I can't break into show tunes anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yes.
damn. Listen, big shout out to everybody watching right now. If you're in the chat, let us know that you're on. Say what's up. Say hello. We'll shout you out here on
Yes.
the show.
What's
Thank you
up
for
with that?
joining us tonight.
Yeah. But yeah, we're talking about Darius Uranius.
Darius.
Duty, the Nail in My Toilet, book number 3, currently on Kickstarter. And this one is awesome. Duty's finally got out of the woods. He finally made it into a house. He found a place of refuge where he thinks that he's safe. But he encounters a Chihuahua named Herman who thinks that Duty's a talking jalapeno. And Herman has to get the intruder. And he's tearing the house apart to find this talking jalapeno. And the owners of the house think that the Chihuahua is going crazy because he keeps tearing things up. And the government is hot on Duty's trail. They found the UFO. They found the crash site. So all worlds are closing in on Duty, and so he has to figure out a game plan and survive this new episode of There's Nail in My Toilet, book 3 on Kickstarter. And this is the biggest one yet. I mean, this is not just There's Nail in My Toilet, book 3, but also because Halloween was around the corner, I wanted to do a monster special. And so there is also Duty's Monsters on Planet Cthulhu. So if you're a fan of Frankenstein and Dracula, the Mummy, and the Werewolf and Cthulhu, you'll love this because it has aliens, it has humor, it has all your favorite monsters. And Duty goes on another adventure to the Outer Rim to chase this mythical creature that he's heard of that's making people from his planet disappear. And Duty's not equipped to handle what he's about to get himself into. So this is another full adventure that Duty's going into. And then lastly, for
Wait,
all
hold on. Before you go, let's give it to them in layers. Let's take our
layers,
time. Let's take our time with this one.
want to bake the cake?
This is our show, so you have time to kind of dive into each one little because you have 3 different stories. We know that.
Yes, I got
Yes,
muchos.
and we got different age groups going on. There's a Nail in My Toilet. There's a lot of meat on that bone, right? This is the main story. So the main story is There's Nail in My Toilet, 12 issues. This is issue number 3.
Trace.
Sam said, yes, he's in the house, meets Herman. There's an agency that's after him, you know what I mean? And then we also meet the dad. We meet more of the dad and Bobby, who's a little boy, right? So that part of the story, Sam. So that with as far as Duty goes, this is I guess still an old ages book, but there's a lot of meat. Like I said, there's a lot of meat on that bone. So you have a lot of things that you're starting to open up to the agencies and all that other stuff.
Yes, there's a lot of characters in this.
Yeah. So some of these, tell us about some of these characters. I know that you said there's an agency. What's the name of the agency?
The agency is the extraterrestrial task force. They're basically led by John Doe, Agent Doe.
John Doe.
Yes, and he's a mysterious figure. And basically, he's in charge of the unit that's tracking the UFO down. So they're hot on its trail. Bobby is the son of the dad. I say the dad because I'm really highlighting Bobby and Herman. And so Bobby is the young boy. The book starts off with you see the sample pages with Bobby playing Frogger. This is at the same time Duty's trying to cross the street.
Right.
So I thought that would be a great way to demonstrate Duty's trying to get out of the woods and get into the house. He has to cross the street, active traffic way. So, and Bobby plays a pivotal role in this whole series because eventually he starts seeing things. It starts off with Herman, then it trickles down to Bobby, and the father thinks that everybody in his house is crazy. And it goes from there. So I don't want to give too much away from this book, but
no, it's good. It's good. And for those who picked up issue number 2, obviously you know how that one ended, and that's where this one kind of picks up. So it's obviously episodic.
Yes,
it's 12 issues. Every something happens in every episode, and I like the way you are kind of uncovering all of these characters. That if you guys picked up the I think in your last campaign you had a guidebook, right? So this is where you can use that guidebook. And you're going to start discovering all the different characters. So you definitely want to pick up this book, if for anything else, just to see what other characters Sam's starting to unlock. It's almost like a video game. You're unlocking different characters with each campaign. So this campaign, you're gonna be introduced to a few of those characters that are inside of that book, of the what do you call it, the guidebook.
The guidebook, yes, the
Right.
guidebook to
Now, let
duty.
me ask you a question, Sam. If you don't have a guidebook, can you get a guidebook in this
Yes, it's
campaign?
available as an add-on. So the guidebook, the activity book, the coloring book, everything's available on the add-ons. So everything, every campaign, everything from the previous campaign will be available in add-ons.
Got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in there. And then obviously, and then we'll go to this other one, which is, you know, the Cthulhu story that you
Yes.
have. You know, Duty somehow gets into these adventures. Dude, he ends up in a Cthulhu story, which is kind of interesting, right? Because you don't expect it. So
No.
where did that come from? Like, so what's going on with Duty here? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I started, if you watched any of my live drawing streams, I draw Duty on a lot of different characters, right? So he takes on all these personalities because that's his safe haven. His imagination is his a safe space because in reality, he's always taking a licking. And his imagination allows him to be the victor instead of the one's always being defeated. And so he's become Frankenstein. He's become Dracula. So I wanted to do a monster comic with Duty, and Halloween was around the corner, so I started writing it, and Cthulhu came about, and I said, you know what? How about do these monsters against Cthulhu? So like villain versus villain, and I was like, how does this work out? And then so I had to do some research on Cthulhu, and then I said, all right, tie his whole mythos into what's happening now with Duty, and then the plot just came in. Duty sitting. It starts off with Duty sitting in class, and there's a sample page on the Kickstarter, and he's pondering his life, and he's bored, and he wants to go on another adventure, and his buddy Cheeks is like, Judy, you just came back from Earth, and then he told him about a bunch of military figures that disappeared in the Outer Rim, and the only message that came back to base was the word Cthulhu. And Cheeks knows this because his father is the general of Uranus's army. So he overheard his father talking about this. So he tells Duty, and Duty's like, that's the adventure I want to go on. I'm going after this. He doesn't even know how to pronounce his name.
Right,
So he stumbles across his name multiple times. So he heads off, half-witted across the galaxy to the Outer Rim, not knowing what he's about to get himself into. And so a series of events take place, and there's a lot of characters involved. You're going to meet General Goatee. You're going to meet Cheeks. You're going to meet the 3Ds, Dee Dee, Dottie, and Daisy. And there's some cameos, so it's really cool.
Yeah, General Goatee, if memory serves me correct, I think he's introduced in issue number 4 in the original book. I think you meet him next issue. Yes, he's coming in future issues. There will be a character named. Wow. Mike has been MIA for a little bit, but he comes back with some dingers. Good
stuff. They let him out to play tonight.
Good stuff. No, dude. So chronologically, there's an alien in my toilet, and then so obviously he's in high school now. So that story takes place years after he has come back from Earth. Okay. And then you go back to his childhood.
Yes.
Back to when he's a little alien.
Yes.
In the next book that you have that you were about to talk about. So talk to me about that book in 2 minutes.
Duty's adventures, right? Yeah. So, this is little Duty growing up on Uranus, and he's on his way to school, and he has to deal with a school bully. So how else do you confront the school bully? You become a superhero. So that's what happens. In Duty's imagination, he becomes Super Duty, and he has to go up against the diabolical egomaniac overlord nemesis Poo Poo. And so that's where the story takes place, and you find out, does Duty stop Poo Poo? So now what's great about this one is, it's for ages 4 and up. What's great about this young children's book is that every page turn, there's an interactive page. So you have this on the right-hand side, you have the story. And on the left-hand side, you have multiple choice questions where the parent or guardian can play with the child and read and see if the child is paying attention. And it's funny and it's fun. It's very interactive. And then there's 6 additional pages at the end of the book. 3 pages for the child to write out their own ending and how they would like to have seen it end. And 3 additional pages for them to draw out their own characters and feel like they're part of Duty's world. So it's very interactive, very educational. It's very fun. And it still has that sense of humor that Duty has. So there's something for every level and every age group.
Everybody.
Yes. So you're not too cool to laugh, and this will definitely make you laugh.
Yeah, no. And listen, big shout out to the 2 people who have pledged since we were on the air. because he's up to 42. Now, listen, let me tell you something. Just a
Oh
little
wow, I
something
didn't
real
even know.
quick before we bring in Dan, because Dan's coming in it's just a
Yes.
few minutes. But before we get him in, I want to tell you guys this. Sammy has some giveaways. Okay, every 25 backers, we're all getting a print. Okay, so now we're at 42. That means that eight more of you have to pledge for us to get another freebie. So every 25 backers, we're getting a freebie, which means if you know somebody, your neighbor, your uncle, your aunt, dog walker down the block, tell them about the book. Tell them that it's on Kickstarter right now. Have them sign up, pledge to the campaign. We get to 50, hopefully by the end of this show. And listen, we're getting another print. Anyway, that's what we got. That's what we got. That's the whole shebang on the duty story. There's nearly my toilet. Make sure you check that out. Please pledge to the campaign. If you're watching and you haven't done so yet, check that out.
Yes.
But without further ado, Sam.
I just want to show the.
We got more.
I just pulled it up. So this is the actual print, the digital print that will be unlocked. It's Duty writing a beast, and so that's going to be available. And I do want to announce that JD Rosario added to, if we get to 75 backers, he added his book to the mix. So you not only get the Oswald Chronicles #1 by JD Calderon and Tall Tales by JD Calderon and Daphne Lage, and what was the other book?
What?
Tall Tales.
Eagle Raven.
Eagle Ravens by Daphne Lage. You also get. I just posted it up there. Hold on.
Jesus Christ, Sam. We're cutting into.
And you get Storm Chasers by JD Calderon. So you're getting 4 digital downloads. Stop acting up. 4 digital downloads. In fact, if you get 75 backers. So thank you. Shout out to JD. Oops. Nope, not yet. JD Rosario. I almost shut us down. I almost shut us down. But without further ado, I grew up watching Kung Fu flicks on Saturday, 3:00 in the afternoon. Me and my buddies ran home, watched it, then came out with our nunchucks and our Chinese slippers on, and we thought we were ninja. So we're gonna bring out the guy that is bringing you Bigfoot, who knows karate. Yeah. What's up, Dan?
Dan Price. Yeah, you're muted, D. You're muted. You got the mute button on.
Oh, there he goes. He's done it again, kids. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing? I'm gonna bequeath you my my mute button. All right. So what that means is when somebody dies, that's something that is being left to you. Okay, like in a will. That's what that means. So there you go.
I know. There you go.
I was just listening to you guys earlier. So while y'all were doing your thing, I'm listening to y'all talking about that. So anyway, I looked it up to make sure I got it completely right too. So
D, welcome back, my brother. Welcome back to the show. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate you. Now listen, it's in the year that Sam has moved to Texas, I realized that there's a lot of talent out in Texas, bro. We've met a few Texan creators, and you're one of them, D. You live out in Texas. Now I do know that your family's originally from England, right?
My parents are, yeah. So
awesome.
So, but I've been here in Texas. I was born in Texas. Speaking of Texas artists who are from England, Lou Pons is a Texas artist. Oh, thank you very much, Lou. You're looking marvelous yourself. She is from England. She lives here in Austin. She's a local Austin artist. We've worked together on some things, and she's fantastic. But yes, Austin, Texas, whatever amazing indie creators out here. There's the Dallas area where Sam's out of, and here in Austin. I mean, we hopefully soon, Sam. This is something you might appreciate. There's talk about Staple, the Independent Media Expo, coming back to Austin. It was been gone since the pandemic, and so the promoter of that show is talking about now bringing it back up. So as soon as I know, you'll know, because this is a show you want to be at. I mean, seriously, indie creators always say it's the best show in Texas. So so then that's Austin to a T. I mean, there's just indie creators everywhere. We're I was with you guys over the summer with Drew Edwards and Paulo Hernandez when we were doing the Halloween Man meets Latex Avenger crossover.
Yes. Yep.
And
Yep.
you know, here in Austin, there's so many creators. I had a signing at Dragon's Lair on the north side of Austin on Saturday, and afterwards, a bunch of creators. Robert Garcia from Retribution, y'all know
Oh,
Robert.
yeah. Yeah. Of
He
course.
was there. Drew Edwards from Halloween Man, myself, Christopher Specht. We all went out to dinner afterwards and just
That's
had a
awesome.
great evening. And I mean, it was just a lot of fun. Although I won't go to that burger place again. I've given it 3 shots. Hop Dotty, it's off my list. Okay,
But
so
you know, and that's the beauty of the community when it works the way it's supposed to work, right?
yeah,
You meet, you collaborate, you guys discuss ideas, and you push each other to create some more.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure after that, I'm sure you were home and you were pumped to just create more stuff, just because the juices are flowing at that point.
no, I'd been working since 5 o'clock that morning on BigFoot and Kickstarter and all that. No, I came home. I went to bed. Man, I'm an early riser, dude. I get up at like 5 o'clock and start doing this type of thing. So 5:30, that kind of thing. I'll get up. So no, man, about 11 midnight. I'm ready. I'm out. I'm done.
That's
Did you
awesome.
do Comic Palooza?
I did do Comic Palooza. I went down there with Robert from Retribution. We shared a table down there and got to hang out with Mark from Lesser Known Comics. He was
Oh,
in
shit.
town from that.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, and Ray from Tank McGregor, he was there. All of us went out for dinner one night with Kevin Garcia, who used to work for Marvel, and he's done some other things. Good guy. We all went to dinner at my favorite taqueria in Houston. I've been eating there since I was 10 years old, and I want to be. I've told my kids, just scatter my ashes there. I mean, that's where Dan needs to go. And so we all went to dinner and had a great night, and then did the hotel bar thing for a while, and just enjoyed the evening with everybody. It was a good time. So I like to make it social, man. If I'm going to be hanging out with my comic book people, like, well, let's go get some dinner. Let's enjoy this, and it's more than just hanging out in the convention center all day. Let's hang. So
That's probably the best part. That's probably the best
What's
part
up?
I agree.
of those conventions.
all the good business takes place in the hotel lobby bar. I'm telling
Right,
you, all the
right.
good business
Yeah,
takes
no,
place in
you're
the
right.
hotel lobby bar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
you're right.
I'm going to Baltimore Comic Con at the end of the month, and there's probably about, I don't know, like 15 people that I know from Instagram that are going to be at that convention, and so we're arranging a dinner on the Friday night, and just somewhere close to the convention center, and just go have a good time and go get some food, go grab some drinks, and
Yeah.
just have some fun.
That's a great show, Dan. That Baltimore, I was there last year just as a spectator, dude, and that was
Tell
like
me you're coming this year.
I won't be there this year. But actually, it's funny because one of the guys that's on the chat right now, Michael San Martino, he also has
Michael.
a book called Technigods, and he'll be at the show. So look out for him.
Oh, right on, man.
Yeah,
Come find me. We'll go come to dinner with all of us. There's
There
a
you
ton of
go.
us going to be there. So
they have a
nice,
really
Michael.
cool book.
Nice.
Yep. There he is. There he is. But yeah, so Dan, we know Casey tonight. He's the co-writer of the book. And although we've had you here for a few times, just tell us a little bit about not you, because we know you're the writer, you're the artist. You write. Listen, the most interesting thing, you drawing with your finger is just out of control. We'll talk a little bit about that. But just tell us a little bit about the book itself, because I want to talk about the book. I want to dive into that,
Sure.
into your stories. Tell us what Bigfoot Knows Karate is, man.
All right. So Bigfoot Knows Karate is the story of a gentle yet deadly cryptid warrior who lives in a world where anyone can be the hunter and anyone can be the prey at any given time. That was my pitch line for the first issue. Kind of think of it like Godzilla versus Kong meets Kill Bill with a twist of Lost. Okay, because, and I throw that twist of Lost in at the end because I think that the beginning of the book and the beginning of issue 1 and the end of issue 1, when you go from the first page down to end of page 30, you're asking a lot of questions, and that was very much by design. We we sold the first issue like a smash 'em up, like it was just going to be a slugfest, punch 'em up between a Bigfoot and a Cthulhu, Kung Fu Thulu, and that's how we really kind of pitched it. But the whole time, Casey and I are kind of smiling at each other during podcast interviews because we knew what was really coming down the pipe, because it ended up being a much more in-depth story. And I don't want to say too much for people who haven't read the first issue, but if you haven't, at the same time, it's on Global Comics for free, guys. Go to globalcomics.com, look at Bigfoot Knows Karate #1, and you can go read that for free. In fact, I think is tomorrow, that it's going to, the first 3 pages of number 2 will be up on Global for as a little preview for people to check out. So
Nice.
I have it scheduled. I think it goes tomorrow evening. So anyway, yeah. So we meet this Bigfoot, and he's alone. And if you were the only one of your kind, and no one knew you, and nobody believed in you, and you never had any sort of relationship with anyone or anything, what would that do to your psyche? What would that do to your soul? This is a very lonely guy who, we're just starting to kind of peel back that layer of the onion about him. But he has this moment in the comic where he has a moment with a bunny rabbit, and the bunny and he lock eyes on each other, and it becomes this moment where he feels like acceptance for the very first time in probably a long time, and then he gets shot.
Yeah.
So, and these hunters are hunting a rabbit, not him, because you can't see Bigfoot. Like, my attitude is, if nobody's ever seen Bigfoot, can you see Bigfoot?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And so but it's more than just invisibility. It's more like he will move through planes of reality when he's not visible. And we play with it's a very layered story, and you get a lot of stuff going on in issue 1,
It is. I'm a huge fan of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and Bigfoot, definitely Benia, I think, as you call him in there, definitely has that Frankenstein vibe, like that, the monster, in other words, where he just wants to be accepted. He's a gentle giant. When you first meet him, and that scene that you're talking about at the beginning with the bunny, I'm like, oh, this bunny's gonna get it. Like,
right.
It's over for this bunny. He's so cute too. You like the way the first page is laid out. It leads you, and I think that's part of like what attracted me to the book is every page turns something different's going on. Something,
right.
It's not what you expect. Right. And I think that's what draws you in to the story itself. And I know you guys have spoken about pacing in prior interviews and stuff like that. But I just kind of want to know what inspires your style of writing. Is it TV? Is it movies? Is it like, where do you kind of get that, kind of moving the story along the beats and all that other stuff?
So I can't speak for Casey, although I think I'm going to go he's from the literary standpoint, I would guess, but I think he pulls from movies as well. For me, I'm definitely movies. I look at comic books as a cinematic, it's a movie that hasn't been made yet.
Right.
That's how I feel about a comic book. It could be easily, or an animation, you know what I mean? It could easily translate to those things, because in the end of the day, comic book is just like, storyboarding to a degree.
That's right.
And so I tend to look at, like, especially with Bigfoot Knows Karate, I tend to look at it like from that cinematic level. We started off very small in that first issue, and by the end of it, the whole story had gone off, widen on its side with the Cthulhu, the Kung Fu fighting Cthulhu, and all the craziness that's been going on with that. And then, this mysterious group shows up after the big battle between the cryptids is over. And I think that really threw everybody off. That was kind of the goal anyway. We wanted that to come out of left field. And these characters, there's this mysterious character in black with tentacles, and who just has his way with Bigfoot. Just too powerful, too much, and we're left with so many questions. And so the second issue really kind of picks up not far off after the first one. And now you've gone from this character who has no one and has never been accepted by anyone, and he's now completely surrounded by enemies.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what's better? Absolute, isolation, or complete submersion into hell? Because that's, because that's the kind of the two sides of the coin for him right now. It's either this or that. So, yeah, I'm really excited for you guys to get to read the second book, because we pick up, and this is an issue where we get to answer some questions, we get to move some story along, but then we also get to introduce you to can I cuss? I already said the F word once already. Okay. we're going to introduce you to a shit ton of new characters. You know,
Right.
thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. I remember we were on the show the first time, I think, or the second time, and Casey just starts going, "Yeah, George, you weren't here. It was just me, Sam, and Casey." And Casey just drops an F-bomb hard, and all of a sudden, 3, 2, 1, MA, right in the corner. You know,
Sam's quick with it. He's quick with that.
he's good like that, man.
Yeah, man.
So anyway, what the hell was I saying? No, we get to drop some story. We get to move some things along. But we're going to introduce you to a shit ton of new characters. You know, the mysterious man in black that we saw. He did have a name in the first issue. It was only dropped once, but his name was Grisha. And Grisha is going to be. We're going to learn more about Grisha and the other people in the organization that he's a part of. That is going to, you know, that has interest in this Bigfoot. You know, that's martial arts fighting cryptid. So we're going to learn about them, and then other cryptids that are going to be involved in it. There's a not a Cthulhu. We already did that. There's a chupacabra with a shotgun that I'm a huge fan of. He's rad. He's rad as hell. And then there's a kaiju thermonucleodon that is it's this giant kaiju with missiles growing out of his body. And you know, and a bunch more. You know, he's gonna make a friend. He's gonna make a ton of enemies. Some people know him and like him. Some people know him and want to take his throat out. And our guy doesn't really know what the hell is going on. So he's seen some things and he's done some stuff, and I don't think he quite understands everything that's happened to him previously. So it's going to be an interesting second issue, that's for sure. So I'm stoked.
Yeah, there's a campaign in Indiegogo Shinobi Sasquatch. I feel like there needs to be a team up.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah,
I don't think that's happening.
D, when you talk about your creative process, you listen. You're a very creative guy. If you guys listen to the past shows, you know, Latex Avenger, you know, and all that other stuff. When creating your stories, where does it start? Does it start with a word? Does it start with a character? Does it start with a plot? Like where does it start? Where does your creative?
It starts with the title. It starts with a title. For me, it's a title, it's a character. And this one, it literally was a title because like back in like 2013, 15, somewhere around there, I had a note just pinned to my wall and it just said Bigfoot knows karate. That's great. And that's how this whole thing started. And it started off as a comedy. You know, it was there was a comic called or the comic that I did previously, Latex Avenger. We just did the Halloween Man special with Latex Avenger. It was this, you know, superhero satire world where, you know, he had a sidekick spermicidal foam lad, and together they repelled crime 99.9% of the time. Bigfoot Knows Karate was going to live in that world at first. It was going to be the trite, stereotypical martial arts, you know, Saturday morning, 3 PM movie that you saw, and you know, he gets hurt, and then there's, you know, the master finds him, trains him up, heals him up, trains him up, you know, goes into battle, the master dies, revenge, you know, that kind of thing. It was going to be one of those, but then it was going to land in Plano, Texas. Actually, he was going to go on this Kane-like journey and then get stuck in Plano, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas, and work at a hot dog on a stick or an Auntie Annie's pretzel place. I'm not kidding around. This was real. This was how it was going to happen, and it was going to be completely over the top, hilarious. Kind of. It really wasn't that funny, and I shelved it. Okay, and I shelved it and I put it away. Like 2017, I start drawing the character, but I'm drawing him more, you know, in this style, you know, in the style that you're seeing it in the comic book. And that's not a funny art style. I mean, there's, you know, to me, I started thinking about Bigfoot and this lonely character, this depressed character. I mean, in one iteration of the story, he actually committed suicide. Okay, and jumped off a cliff, but was brought back through a bigger means. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so there was a lot of different. It went from this ridiculous comedy to this very sad, you know, tragedy, to where it's at now. Because, and where it's at now, I'm God bless you, Casey Allen, and you know, and everybody else who's been a part of this book and has helped me do this, because like I feel like we've really created something a little different, you know, and I'm really excited about it. The fact that, you know, here we are, you know, with issue 2, you know, we put out the first book, you know, and made that happen. I don't know. I know I'm kind of going off the rails right now, but you ever have those moments? You ever have those moments when you when it kind of all hits you what's happening, and you're just like, just damn grateful. Well, this is one of those moments.
No,
You know what I
I
mean?
hear you. Latest Avengers epic. No, and listen,
Thank you,
big
Lou.
shout out to Casey. To Casey who helped you,
It's
because
amazing.
sometimes you don't see it, right? Like you know what you want to do, and he came in. I know he came in as an editor at first, and
Yeah.
then he became the co-writer of the book, and you guys have a nice cohesive way of working together, which
Oh, dude.
has made you guys finish up. I know it's a 5-issue story arc, right?
Yeah, well,
That's
5 issues, and then we're doing a side book between 2 and 3. So we're going to be doing that too with Adam Caswell on art. Yeah, but Casey, he's like Ray Stantz. He's the heart of the Ghostbusters. That's how I feel about Casey when it comes to this book, because like Casey has nothing but anybody's the best of the book at heart. Like he'll keep me from like flipping out on somebody on Twitter or something like that. He's like, "Don't do it." You be the good guy. He's the more moral compass, and I appreciate him so freaking much, dude.
So,
you have no idea.
Before we go any further, I want to play your trailer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let's do it.
So let's play this trailer
This is
right now.
the new one. Yeah.
That's awesome, though. That is.
Thanks
awesome.
so much. Hey, Michael, it launches on October 12th, next Wednesday for sure. And then I got to say something to Lou real quick.
Yeah.
Lou, if you do a Bigfoot nose karate painting, I will freak out, man, with excitement and joy. You don't understand. She's incredible. She did a latex Avenger piece years ago that was just completely hilarious and amazing. And she did a cover for Halloween Man on a book that I worked on for Drew years ago. That amazing. She's just a great artist. So great artist. And Perm is in the room. What's up, Big Perm? How you doing, buddy? Arthur Moore.
Thank you, guys.
So you mentioned the style. You have a very unique style with regards to the palettes you choose, the line work you choose. It's almost abstract in a way. Talk about the thought process where and how you landed on that, because I think that's what makes it so appealing, is that style that you've chosen to use.
Thank you for that, first of all. So I went to college at Sam Houston State University, Huntsville, Texas, and I had the honor to work under a teacher, an artist named James Searles. Searles has done stuff, he's hung in the Guggenheim. I mean, he's world famous. He's an amazing artist. And he saw, I was doing an independent story. That's awesome. I was doing an independent study in illustration for him at one point, and he was working on, and I was doing a different illustration class in Aqua Media at the same time. And he said to me, "Hey, let me see your portfolio. Let me see what else you're working on." I said, "Okay." So I, check out my big portfolio, and I was doing the gesture drawings for this piece. It was like it was actually a court jester with like a snake wrapped around it or something weird. And he said to me, "This has got so much energy and so much excitement to it. Like, I'm really excited to see how it comes out." I said, "Cool." Next week, he goes, "Right, pull out your portfolio. Let me see it again. Let me see where you are with that." And I pulled it out, and he goes, "This is shit. This is." He's like, "This is so stiff and it's so wooden," because I inked it and put the everything down, and it was just like, or whatever the I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, so it was just stiff, and so I wouldn't say tore me up, tore me a new one or anything like that, but he gave me an honest opinion and this isn't somebody that I, won't listen to. This is somebody who he gets my respect for sure. So and I always felt that way about my inked work in comics. It was always just too stiff, and I felt like I could never get the kinetic energy and the looseness of a gesture drawing in a comic book, because it's got to be so crisp and clean and tight. And when I did a thing for Halloween Man a while back, it was a horror piece, and I decided to do more of this look and just a lot more brushy and grungy, and it worked well. And so I just took it a little bit further in Bigfoot Knows Karate. I wanted that kinetic energy. I wanted that movement, that fluidity, that brushiness, the grunchiness. I wanted it to feel organic. Okay, I mean that's like the biggest thing. I wanted it to have the vibe
Mhm.
of a martial arts film in its way too. I wanted there to be, so it is different, odd, whatever you want to call it, in comparison to the realism trend and stuff like that in comics today. But I wanted, look, I'm not your guy for that. If there's a million people who can do that
Yeah,
stuff and they're really
yeah,
good at it.
yeah.
But I wanted to do something that was just different. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing in anything from project to project for me. I want it to be different from the last thing I did. And, so I threw, conventional comic artwork out the window and kind of did something a little bit more like this. I get a lot of people say that it reminds them of Samurai Jack. So I'll take that as a compliment,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, I'm stoked. I'm
I
just
mean, the
glad that people like
lighting,
it.
the color choice is just, I mean,
No,
brilliant.
and that's what I was gonna say. Like when you look at, and for those watching, make sure you pick up that first issue. Obviously, when I'm sure you're gonna have a catch all
Yes, I will.
tier. But what I enjoyed about that book is that you can really get lost when you don't have your traditional panel 1, panel 2, panel 3,
Hmm.
and you've been able to create this world in these almost abstract pages, but you're not lost. You know what I mean? There's a lot of that where you see the monster or Bigfoot, right? But you also see things behind them, and the way
Hmm.
you use that, like, it's really well done, dude. Like, I really enjoyed. I never felt like I was lost looking at what am I looking at now. There's a fluidity to it, Bigfoot t-shirts.
Go to tpublic.com/user/danomite139. Or if you go to my website, bigfootknowskarate.com, you can go to my t-shirt shop right from there. So yes, there are Bigfoot Knows Karate shirts out. I'm not wearing one tonight, but
Yeah.
yes, we
So,
have them. We have
so
them.
D, when you guys did pages like that, for example, you sit down with Casey. How is
Yeah.
that written in the script? Is that something that you just like? All right, I'm gonna just go off the top of my head here, and I'm gonna I see something, I'm gonna put it on the page, or is that
Yeah.
actually scripted out? Like, how does
So
that work?
the layout is, so Casey gives me breakdowns in terms of, this is what's happening in this room, and this is what, and this is how these characters are interacting with each other in terms of the panel breakdowns on like, or how I actually lay out the page. I do that myself, but I really try and look at, so I believe in anchor panels on pages. Okay, and that's something that you'd see in like early 90s, Image Comics, that kind of thing, where you'd have that one big panel and then the other panels around it. Okay, and I like those. Okay, now I think there's a way to do those and not have to do like Marvel pinup, where they're always in poses every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I think there's a way to do that. And so what I tried to do that, I mean, I love that type of stuff, don't get me wrong, but I think there's a way to do that and make it still have that, move across the page really easy. If I was trying to resell my pages, I'd definitely be doing that, but I work digital, so I don't do that
yeah,
for
yeah,
that reason. But I think it just helps kind of pull the page together. I want the page to feel like one big piece, but I want it to easily flow. And I think having like, the brushy panel, the panel layout, borders and that sort of thing,
yeah.
just instead of doing traditional gutters, stuff like that, I think it just works. It just helps. Also, I don't put 9 panels to a page. That's
Right.
something we have like an agreement, Casey and I, like, please don't make me draw more than 6, 7 panels in a page.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like drawing small. And I
Right.
can draw small. I work in vector illustration in Illustrator, so I can blow it up 64,000%,
Right.
bigger, and make it all tiny. And then when you zoom out, it's just a blur. It's just a blob because all that
Right.
detail got lost anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm happiest at 5 panels at a page maximum. If sometimes Casey makes me do 6 or 7, that's fine.
Yeah.
But had drawing big, and I mean, because we can add more pages to it. This is my
Sure.
attitude. We can just
Sure.
make it, so as long as the beats work properly, and Casey's really good about, putting the beats down per page and making that, making the page turns work nicely and that sort of thing. We've worked out a nice marriage, so to speak, in terms of how we're writing together.
And I think that's the beauty of doing an independent book is that, like you said, there is no page count. Like, you can make it as long as you want. You know what I mean? And I think that that's the best part of working the way we work, in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's you know, I mean, when you find somebody, you know, like I've worked with people creatively in the past. I've done hey, look at that 111. Woo.
Yeah, baby.
When I've worked with you know, people in the past, I worked with a cat named Bonadami, who was he was my artist. I was writing the books at the time, and he was doing the artwork, and we ended up co-creating a book called Masters of the Obvious together. Available, I'm having reprints of that available at Baltimore Comic Con, by the way.
Nice.
And we're doing, and we did another thing for the Stan Lee Foundation together, and we worked on, you know, several books, and that was a lot of fun. And I thought that when I came back to comics that I would be doing this alone. I did never thought that I would be working with somebody else. And then when Casey and I met and we worked on a couple of things we worked on one thing for the Comic Jam, we just connected. We just hit it off, and it was there. It was clearly. I mean, he was such an intelligent writer,
Mhm.
and sees things from so many different angles. He was the only person I could call to do this project. I mean, it was the only person that made sense.
Yeah, no, no, no. Awesome, brother. Awesome. I do have one final question for you. I don't know if
Yeah,
someone
man,
has
bring
anything
it.
else, but tell me a little bit about the side stories that you guys are working on. Because I know after issue 2, there's going to be a side story. So where are you with these
Yeah.
side stories? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, as I mentioned previously, you know, he's been around a minute, this Bigfoot character. You know, I mean, these characters, you know, like Grisha, the mysterious guy at the end of the first issue, he mentions Bigfoot by name, and there's a lot of past going on in this dude's future, so to speak. You know, not really, and I just made him sound like fucking Cable. But anyway, but there is. I was trying to be smooth. That did not work out the way I wanted it to. No, but it was great. You know, it's cool because we're gonna get to see Casey's gonna be able to is running the ship more on the side story,
Mhm.
and you know, I mean, he came up with the plot, and he's, you know, doing a lot. You know what we worked on it. You know, he came up with the plot. Let's just do that, okay?
Yeah,
And we're
yeah, yeah.
working the book together. It's different working with two writers at the same time. Like, it's not easy to say, okay, well, he did this and he did that.
Right, right,
In
right.
fact, it's funny because in first issue, people thought that I wrote the dick joke, and it was actually Casey. You know, I mean, like, because we were writing. You know, they thought one person thought that Casey wrote this deep introspective stuff. That was me.
Mhm.
Casey wrote the pecker joke. That wasn't me. You know, it was funny because people have you pegged, right?
Right.
But but working together, the two of us, we're coming. You know, he's really taken the reins on this story for
Got it.
sure. And then we're having Adam Caswell, who was the cover artist on issue 1 on the variant cover, the black and white with the Cthulhu up front and the Bigfoot eyes in the back. It actually won the Master of the Comic Book
Yes,
contest
that
for
was
Comics
nice.
Wellspring. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Adam's back on issue 2 doing a wraparound cover this time, and then he's doing interiors on the side book. So
Oh,
while
sweet.
he'll be, you know, so, you know, we'll work on the script, you know, get that all finished out for him, and then he'll be able to run with that and have a good time on that book. And he and Casey will be like focusing on that while I'm working, you know, drawing the next issue of Bigfoot. So it's of Bigfoot 3. So yeah, we're putting on a couple things on our plates, but it's going to be worthwhile, I think.
No, absolutely. What is the title of the side book? Do you have like a title for it? Is it just Bigfoot Knows Karate and then like just like a tagline or
It
something?
will be a subtitle. I'm not at liberty to give it away
Got
yet,
it.
but
Okay.
yeah, but it will explore Bigfoot's
Unacceptable.
what? Unacceptable. Unacceptable. This is bullshit. No, it is. You know, the first issue we was called Hunter Prey. The second issue is Born Under a Bad Sign, and each title has a reason behind them, and so, you know, it'll be exciting when we get to announce it. Ooh, big reveal.
Yeah. All
So
right.
anyway,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool, man. Looking forward to that, Dan.
Thanks, man.
Awesome stuff, brother. Awesome stuff. So, all right. So I know you told us where to get the t-shirts. Tell us
Yep.
where to find you. Tell us, you know, obviously it's going to be October 12th on Kickstarter, and you
Yep.
know, let us know when that.
Yes.
You know, we'll share those links and things. But go ahead. What else you
Appreciate
got?
it. Yeah, so 7 p.m. Central Time, we will be going live on Kickstarter. Come to Instagram that night. Myself, Casey Allen, and Christopher Michael from Crit, who is launching his book at the exact same time. We are having an Instagram live launch party. Crit, Bigfoot Knows Karate. So come hang out with us when we press the button live. It's going to be a great time. And you can find me at bigfootnosekarate.com. My social media links are at danomite139. That's Twitter. That's Instagram. TeePublic, you can find Bigfoot Knows Karate merch over there. And if you want to read Bigfoot Knows Karate #1 for free right now, go to globalcomics.com. That's comics with an X, and search Bigfoot Knows Karate. So that's me in a nutshell.
There you go. There you go. That's awesome, brother.
Yes.
Not bad, right?
That's
You
pretty
got
solid
it.
to me. Pretty solid.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to the launch. Can't wait. I'm sure you guys are gonna kill it. I know. Hey, listen. I know. Rumor has it that if you guys double what you made from the first one, somebody's getting a Bigfoot Knows Karate tattoo live on Instagram or something like that. I heard that.
I will do it. If we, my wife said, so we did 7,300 last time, okay, which was incredible. I couldn't thank you, everyone. But she made the joke, like if we hit 10 grand, or was it 10 grand or double, that I had to get the Bigfoot Knows Karate tattoo. If we hit 10 grand, I will Instagram live that shit. I promise you that. I will totally do it. So it'll go right there. So it'll go right on that spot right there. Cool. Looking forward to the new book. Perm, thank you so much, sir.
Awesome.
I appreciate that.
Awesome.
Great stuff happening. Thank you, Lou.
Yes.
It's so good to hear from you, Lou.
Thank you, Dan, for being on the show. You're always welcome back anytime.
Guys, thank you so much. And I will see you guys on Thursday morning, because I'll probably be watching the Morning Brew show that y'all do, because I like that on Thursday morning. So if y'all don't, this is my plug for you guys. If any of y'all watching, if y'all don't watch the Thursday morning show, check it out. It comes on at 8 a.m. Central. So there it is. Hey, there it goes, guys. So I usually check it out on Thursdays. I dig it. So
appreciate you, brother.
Thank you guys so much for having me on, guys.
Thank you, man, and good luck. But good luck. I'll be watching, and like I said, I'm gonna be pledging. So we're all set with that.
Thank you, fellas. All right.
Thank you, man. Take care. Woo.
Yes, that's Bigfoot No Karate, Dan Price. I mean, they got a winning formula, so they're going to do extremely well. I'm sure they'll double it.
Oh man, yeah, I can't wait to see that tattoo being put on his arm live. But big shout out to Dan. Thank you so much for coming on, and guys, thank you for everybody who was on the show, on the chat. Everybody who supports Sam. If you guys haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. Give us a like, comment, do all that fun stuff. And thank you guys for being on. Thank you guys for coming on with us. And like Dan said, we're going to be live Thursday morning at 9 a.m.
But we'll also be live tomorrow night. We're going to be talking to the promoter of Cowtown Comic Con. So join us tomorrow night. Chris Hayes. So I met Chris Hayes at the what was the Eternal? What was it? I forgot the name of the Comic Con. He came and introduced himself to me at one of the comic events here in Texas, and then I met him again at the Denton Comic Art Expo. And so he's going to be on the show. We're going to be talking about why Cowtown Comic Con is the place to be. There's going to be a lot of Lori Calcaterra is going to be there. Paul Gomez is going to be there. Bushi Boo. So a lot of creators are going to be at Cowtown. So I'm looking forward to that. That's in a couple of weeks. Next week I will be at the Dallas Fan Festival, which is run by Fan Expo. So I'll be there for 3 days. So come check me out in Artist Alleys. I'm looking forward to that. And then the week after I'll be at Cowtown. So it's going to be cool, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be. I can't wait till I start doing some conventions and let you guys know where I'm gonna be at. But that's not till next year. That's not gonna be till next year. But no, thank you guys. I know Sam's gonna be on a show at 9 p.m. Nerds of the Round coming up at 9 p.m. Go check out their channel. Check out Sammy. That you guys could be talking about. I think Andor might be one of the topics. I think I know they love the Lord of the Rings show that's out right now.
I'm still waiting for my link.
Yeah, you'll probably get that in a few. But no, man. And if you haven't done so yet, please pledge to the campaign. There's nail in my toilet. Issue number 3.
There's nail in my toilet. I Chihuahua. Duty finally gets into a house where there's a Chihuahua named Herman who thinks Duties are talking jalapeno, and so the adventure begins there. If you haven't picked it up, go ahead and get yourself a copy. Thank you so much, Lou, for joining. And remember, there's also there's 2 books. There's the End of My Toilet book number 3, and there's also Duty's Monsters on Planet Cthulhu. So there's 2 books on this campaign, a whole lot of fun. Plus, if you have a child 4 years old or older, there's Duty's Adventures. So there's something for all ages. It's fun, and we got 16 days left as of, actually, what time is it now? So as of 8 o'clock, we'll have 15 days left. So we're at the halfway point.
Yep.
And so let's get this bad boy funded, and let's get it on time for Christmas. If you want Christmas presents, this is being delivered in November to you. Great Christmas present to put under the tree for the little loved ones. So yeah, and thank you again for everybody who joined us. Thank you, Pops. He stopped in for a second. Thanks Lou, Michael San Martino. Thanks Arthur Moore and everybody who's been watching on Facebook silently or on Twitch. Thank you all for joining us tonight and supporting Dan Price and Bigfoot Knows Karate. Sign up. The link is in the chat. He's got 112 people. 112 people can't be wrong. So go ahead and sign up and join the party. And remember, it launches next week on the 12th on Instagram. So you want to be there. With that said, I'm Sam, the Crazy Man Vera.
George, the Dreamer Medina.
And I'm getting attacked. And we are out.
It's just easy. It's not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, it's talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him. Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh, my.
He described me. He said, I'm the
What? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Candy girl.